And good afternoon, everybody. It is rare that I say good afternoon on our Instagram Live, but today, David Gazarian from IQ Mortgage and I actually decided that we're going to delay the session a little bit so we could wait for the Feds for Jerome Powell to make his announcement and actually tell you what this announcement actually means for all of us. And as David is requesting to join us, good morning. I'm sorry, good afternoon, David.
Hey, Alexandra, how are you?
Oh, interesting. I am. Can you hear me?
I can, but your microphone's off. I can hear some echo.
You know what? I know what's going on.
Hey, Leo.
1 second, please.
I appreciate your referral, buddy.
David, I cannot hear you because the sound actually goes to my other headphones. Give me 1 second.
Yep.
I know that.
In the meantime. What's up, brother?
My bad. Now it's better.
There you go. Leo, as a loan officer, record a video and send it to your agents. This is the perfect time to do it. It just most of them don't even know what happened. So this is what we're going to talk about today.
Well, we're going to talk about a lot of great news. You know, like I think today is a very awesome day. Hey, Pascal. First of all, congratulations to all of the Golden Knight fans and to the city, because this is the first time in history of Las Vegas that we own the Stanley Cup. So kudos to everybody who watched the game. It was a lot of fun yesterday,
Yes.
all like across the city, and the fans were watching, and it was an amazing, you know, like amazing crowd, and nothing more inspiring than the Las Vegas community that has been united over the over the sports team, and of course this game with the unbelievable score of 9-3. Were you and your father watching?
I don't follow hockey, but I'm glad to hear. I remember the times where Vegas didn't have a sports team, like a professional major league, and this is beautiful. Yeah, we get to unite around something. That's awesome.
Absolutely. That was probably the best sports event that happened to our community in the long run. So Congratulations to everybody who was cheering. Like, doesn't matter where you were, it is unbelievable, and the Stanley Cup stays with the city for the next year and hopefully for many more years
hopefully.
to go. But this is not the only great news. And I was just starting this recording with the fact that we did delay our live today. And the reason for the delay was because we wanted to see the Fed's meeting. We wanted to hear Jerome Powell speaking live. And we finally wanted to share the great news with our listeners and everybody who's going to watch the video later on. So, David, what's the greatest news? What were you watching this morning?
Yeah, finally. So Jerome Powell announced that he is pausing the rate hike. He used the word pause because I could explain why, but he's very careful in his wording. But what this means, the most important thing, Alexandra, is he has raised interest rates for 15 months straight. Okay, this is the first month that he stopped, and you and I have predicted this. We've been saying this, that he's going to stop in June. Since March we've been saying this. Okay, so he did stop. yesterday, the CPI index, which shows the inflation index, came out, and it's at 4%, which is wonderful. April index was at 4.9. May is 4%. It's almost a whole percent drop in 1 month. It is unbelievable. If it continues to happen like this, if it continues to lower like this, then I think within the next 2, 3, 4 months, we're going to have rates that are lower in their low threes or even twos. And the Fed will start lowering interest rates. Okay, so that's the next question. When are the rates going to drop? Well, before the rates drop, they have to plateau. Okay, so before we jump and talk about when are the rates dropping, let's understand when are the rates stopping. Rates stop today, guys. Rates are stopping today. They're not going to go up again.
We just need to, I think that we need to actually go into the detail, the Fed rate versus the mortgage rate, because people are always asking me, like when they look at the Fed rate, and the Fed rate today is anywhere between 5 to 5.25, 5.25. Right. But when it comes to the mortgage rate is like, you can't even buy down to 5% right now.
No.
So no. Can you please, before we go any further, can we please elaborate what is the federal rate and what is the mortgage rate, why there is a difference, and what is the correlation?
It's really simple. The Fed usually has the money printing machine. So the Fed prints money and loans that money to other banks at a certain interest rate, right? So that would be your Fed rate. But that is the most important rate because that has ripple effects on many other things. What has the most direct correlation to 30-year mortgages is the 10-year Treasury bond. And the Fed kind of indirectly affects it. Not necessarily, the Fed doesn't change the interest rates, but essentially Fed changing interest rates is going to ripple down into our industry, and rates are going to, I don't think we should bore our viewers with an economics class, but essentially the federal prime rate dropping is going to trickle down into our rates as well, and they're going to drop as well.
Yeah. And I want to just, for the simple explanation, think about it this way. The bank is going to borrow the money from the Fed at a rate, whatever the Fed is going to define. Like right now, it is anywhere between 5 to 5.25%. And right. Then the bank is going to lend this money out to the consumers. But because the banks need the fees and their fees associating with with lending, and obviously they're not going to do it for free, so there is a margin between, so they put an extra add-on to the rate that they're getting the money at, and they're selling those rates to the consumer with the add-on. And depending on the type of a debt that we're talking about, this add-on will vary. So for the real estate, properties, for the mortgages, because it is considered a secured investment, or this is the lending that is secured by the asset, then this margin usually it used to be around between 1.4 to 1.75. Right now, it can be 2% and greater. So whatever you see as the Fed rate is, you can easily add on 2%, and this is what you can expect for the bank to give you the money at this rate. Now, obviously, there are different types of loans, so you can see all the loan interest rates, they went up as for the last 15 months when the Fed kept on raising the interest rates. So the car is considered to be less secured of the loan, so the interest rates for the cars are are a little bit higher. And then you have you have your credit card debt. You probably all have your credit cards, and you got the letters in the mail lately, or within the last 15 months, saying that your interest rate on your credit card that you might have had for years and years has been increased. And that was the increase due to the due to the Fed rate being going up, being increased as well. But the credit card, it can go all the way to like 29-30% because it is not a secured debt. Because you usually buy, you usually buy perishables with your credit cards, like you buy groceries. So the bank has nothing, like no assets to come after it. So the credit card debt is going to be your most expensive one. But that is the difference. So when you guys see those numbers saying that the Fed rate is 5 or 5.25, please do not expect the mortgage to be at 5 or 5. Do not expect the 30-year mortgage to be at 5 or 5.2.5.
No.
So we, I don't know if did you watch the whole thing today, or did you?
I was working. I was on the phone with clients, but I did watch the CNBC and CNN kind of a recap. So the most important thing to take away from this is the Fed's going to continue watching this, Alexandra, and if what I'm predicting, this is going to give a huge confidence boost to buyers, okay? Because at least I told you forever, like for the last several months, that the most people that are not buying now, they're broken into two categories. Those that are hoping the prices will drop, those that are fearful that the prices will drop. Now, at least those that are fearful that the prices will drop can know that the prices are not dropping. We, in my opinion, have avoided a recession, okay? Now, if he had continued to raise rates for another 2-3 months, he would, in my opinion, would push us into a recession. Now, if we have avoided a recession, if this gives anyone confidence, and I think it will, to go back into the market and start shopping for homes, I think we're going to have quite a bit of activity in the housing market, and we have historic low inventory. You can speak to this. So if we do see an uptick in transactions, this may increase inflation again. So what he said, he used the word pause, which means he may come back and continue raising again if we get too excited, basically is what he said, or he didn't say. So
exactly.
Yeah, we have to read between the lines, which means don't get too excited if your exuberance gets too you get too excited. I'll basically continue raising the rates again to kind of slow you down, calm you down. But what
does it mean? Let's talk about it. What does it mean? Like, this is all, great language for the people who are watching the economy. Let's break it down. What does it mean for our consumer? I will be asking you straightforward questions, like, do we expect the mortgage rates to go down now?
Oh, yes. So it had to stop before it went down. So I think this is that stop, this is that plateau, and he's going to stop watching. What happens is, him raising rates, there's a lag effect. There's a time before he sees the results of the inflation dropping. So he has to stop and watch. I don't know if it's going to be 2 months or 5 months. He has to watch. And if the inflation continues to drop, 4% is a wonderful result. The inflation has dropped every month in the last 12 months, and 4% is a wonderful result. And imagine it goes down 0.5 point next month. So in July, we come up with 3.5%. In August, September, we come up with less than 3%. Okay. Well, his target's 2, which means at some point he has to start lowering the interest rates, which is why I'm saying if we're only 2% from our target today, his goal's 2%, we're at 4 inflation-wise, which means at some point this year, we will be very close, very near the 2%, and he will start lowering the interest rates. That's going to be sometime, I don't know, September, August, December, I don't know, could be January, but that's going to happen. That'll be a long period of dropping rates of 6 to 8 months. I think we will have bottom really low interest rates right before the elections, before September of next year. That'll be the political trick, I think, that they've always pulled. And the trick is, and I've spoken with many people that I have pre-qualified, they're waiting on the sidelines. I told them, guys, this is the time to buy because I do think prices are going to go up, and I probably shouldn't even say that. That's not my prediction to make. But if prices do go up, then you can refinance later, but get something while prices are cheap. The crash didn't happen.
the crash didn't happen. The crash that everybody was waiting for or hoping for did not happen. And to attest to that, I would tell you that I'm watching the numbers. I'm watching the medium home price. So our lowest medium home price in Clark County, Nevada, was in November of 2022. Since November, we've been going up. And when you guys are watching the like the national news, you need to remember that the national news take the average around the country, but real estate is strictly local. So do not base your opinion, do not form and shape your opinion based on the, like ABC News and Fox News that are located in, they're transmitting federal news, and the East, they're talking about the East Coast, and it has very little relevance to the West Coast, and East Coast, California, there's so many factors that actually affect the local real estate that on the national scale of things, there were so many areas where, let's say, the prices, even if we say the prices went down across the, across the map of the United States, but I would tell you that the interest rates went up, on a federal level. So interest rates went up across all the 50 states. And so those people who lived on the East Coast, or let's say who live in California, those people who live in Seattle, those people that live in Chicago, let's say in Boston, their interest rate went up to the same level that the interest rate here in Las Vegas. However, when you're priced out of your market that was tough no matter what, then the very next step that happens to you, people start searching for the similar markets where they can have similar, nice living conditions, but can't afford the home. And that's why, if you look at the map where people are relocating, you will find people, the majority of, the number of the top states of relocation would be Florida, Nevada, Arizona, and Texas. These are the top 4 states where people are relocating. So these are the states that are picked by population as the states with the best affordable housing and the best level of living that people can get. These are the states where people are moving. So when you see, when you see us talking about, oh, we have super low inventory, we're back to multiple offers, and people are like, what do you mean? On TV, they're saying that, the economy is down, the house prices are surging. They are in some areas, and in some areas like these top 4 states, and especially metropolitan cities, we get to experience a lot of migration, in-state migration. So that actually changes our market, and that makes our real estate market act absolutely different than the rest of the country.
That's correct.
And so, once again, rates go up across the board, prices and the housing market is totally different. So, we have to account for that, and you have to talk to your local real estate advisor to know what's going on in the area that you're interested in, or the area where you're trying to sell the house if you are selling the house. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about, talking about the interest rates and talking about how the economy, nothing happens overnight. We do not, and nothing takes effect, through the country with the economy, nothing takes the immediate effect. We have to wait for the certain things to happen to see the effect. So the fact that we had Jerome Powell announce, it was actually funny, because if you were watching the stock market, the moment Jerome Powell said that he's going to pause the increase, the stock market went up 0.2% across the board. And then the moment when he said, but he will continue to raise the rates later on, like later on this year, the stock market went down 0.7%.
Okay, can I just make a prediction? I don't believe he's going to raise rates. It largely depends on the future inflation numbers, whether it's going to continue going down or up. But I think that's just another fear tactic of, if he had to stop raising rates at some point. But so the next tool he has is the fear. So to keep us a little bit in fear, because that stops us from spending money. That's what he wants. He wants us not to spend money. So I think that's just the tactic. I don't think he's going to raise rates, and I want to go on record and say that.
And I think that, the message is that, we might have gone through the toughest of the times so far in this period, but we're not out of the woods yet. So please do not, do not act like this is the beginning of the party. Still be smart with your spending. Still be smart with your money. Be cognizant of the fact that there's still a lot of layoffs are going on. So guys, nobody, unless you're your own boss and your business is well established, you might not be perfectly secure. So, be careful. But for our consumers, let's talk about our consumers. Let's talk about our clients. So, have we seen the rates, the mortgage rates drop today?
No.
No, they're still where they are. Okay. Do you think that they're going to drop by the end of the week?
I don't think so. I don't think dropping rates is what we should be looking for. I don't think that's what we should be selling. I think we should be looking to, what I've told my clients at least is, while you can, buy something, because prices, in my opinion, will explode. Buy something, own something. Don't wait for prices to drop. It's not rates to drop. It's not the time for rates to drop. Prices are not dropping, period. You and I knew this 2-3 months ago. Prices are not dropping, Alexandra. But rates are not dropping too soon. I think rates will drop towards the end of this year. As soon as rates drop, it'll be, in my opinion, too late to buy something. So I do tell my clients it's a hard pill for them to swallow. But if you're going to buy something now.
And I want to piggyback off what you said. So we cannot predict whether the rates are, when exactly the rates are going to drop, what they're going to drop, to which number. But one thing that you have to be very aware of. So everybody can look into the past, and see what was happening. So guys, when the rates were excruciatingly low, we were talking about 2s, we were talking about 3s, when the rates were low, we had this frenzy on the market where people were buying anything at a crazy price. And when I'm saying at a crazy, insane price, I am talking about an average of $500-$600 home here in Las Vegas, where people were overbidding by $50,000-$70,000, and they could still not secure the property. So that is, that is the market frenzy. So if you look at it from the standpoint, if you're shopping for a $500,000 home, and you have to overbid the listing price by $70,000, this is ridiculous. This is too much. That is 15%.
There was a house that went above $1 million asking price. Now, it was not an expensive house. I think it was $500,000-$600,000 house in Seattle back in 2021. They paid $1 million on top. So what I quite frequently think of, Alexandra, is 2021, when these young families having 3.5%-5% down payment could not get their offers accepted. I knew agents that wouldn't even work with them. If you had less than 10%, less than 20% down, a lot of the busy agents wouldn't even, but I know some agents wouldn't even work with you because they knew your offer would not get accepted. The same people that have low down payments, I think this is the perfect opportunity, in my opinion, to get their offers accepted, that opportunity is not going to last. And but those are the people usually that tend to wait for the low interest rates or the prices to crash. So unfortunately, that's I don't agree with that, but we'll see what happens. That's our local Las Vegas young families that don't have a lot of down payment. And my advice, if they do care to know my advice, is to buy something as soon as possible.
And I would add to your advice, I would say if you are looking to put less than 20% down on a purchase of your house, do not wait for the low interest rates.
Yeah, don't do
because
that.
by the time the interest rates are going to come even close to, and I'm not even talking 5, I'm talking 6. I'm talking once the interest rates come close to 6%, you're going to be priced out, or you're going to be pushed out of the market by the multiple offers. Because we have 2 factors over here. We have an extremely low inventory in here, and even with extremely low inventory, this inventory still turns around. So if you're a seller right now, don't panic. Like most of you who are the sellers, guys, I understand that you might be in the position where you need to push the property a little bit further, off the market a little bit faster because of the time constraint. But I'm telling you that if you're the seller right now and your house has been on the market for 50 or 60 days, do not panic and do not drop the price, because your buyer is coming. The the inventory is very low. Of course, keep the upkeep on the house, make it look pretty, but 60 days on the market is normal. It is not the time to slash your price in half. If you really want to speed up the process of sale, go ahead and offer the incentive for the buyers, offer them some closing costs. Because, David, once again, let's talk about the closing costs in the current market. Do you see a lot of sellers giving the closing costs to the buyers?
Oh, I don't anymore, unfortunately. I think closing costs, seller concessions, last one I got was in May, early May. I haven't seen, in the contracts that have come in, I haven't seen a seller concession in over a month. Those are gone. They're not completely gone, obviously. They're gone in my pipeline, but we saw a lot of sellers concessions in February, March, April. And, the sellers are not that desperate. There's more buyers. There's less houses. They're getting multiple offers. They're not giving you $5,000, $10,000 towards your closing costs. Unfortunately, what we see that we're at the forefront of the market changes. We do try to bring this to our clients, but there's a lag in the public opinion, and the public opinion is always lagging 2-3 months. So that's what I keep seeing.
Correct. And another thing that I keep seeing is that people are saying, "Oh, when the rates are going to drop, I'm going to buy." And guys, this is not a very smart strategy, because this is what happens. Once the rates are going to drop, you'll have way more competition on the market. The way to win this game, you have to have a strategy. And your strategy should be, I am going to buy at a reasonable price right now. Maybe if I'm working with the great real estate professional, I will have the room to negotiate or ask for some concessions. They're not guaranteed, but make sure that you work with a real estate professional who is not shy and knows how to ask and knows how to present your offer in order to actually make the things work for you. That's number one. Number two is that the only way you can win it and the only way you can avoid the frenzy when the interest rate goes down is when you own your house. Then your only competition is you and your time to, to collect the paperwork and submit it to the lender. Now, one of the questions that I actually got asked it 4 times this week, from a lot of people who we close on, they were asking what if I miss the time when the interest rates go down? David, what is the best way for our clients not to miss the time when the interest rates go down? Can you hear us, David? You probably have the call coming. So I will ask the question.
It was on Do Not Disturb. I don't know why the call came in. It's on Do Not Disturb. Anyway, so I heard the question. The question was, how do you time the market? When is that absolute bottom before rates go up and you get the cheapest rate possible? I don't know.
And how do you know that the rates go up? Like, everybody's busy living their life, you know, not everybody's sitting there in front of the computer watching the rates like you and I do every single day.
I just think those are the wrong things to focus on, Alexandra. Now, we have to answer the question, so let's answer the question. I have no clue. I don't think anybody does. I don't think Warren Buffett, being one of the smartest people in this country, knows how to time the market. Otherwise, if he knew, then he wouldn't be doing what he does. What does Warren Buffett do? He just buys at incremental over a period of time, right? So what did I do? I bought a bunch of houses whenever I had the down payment. Just bought a house in 2017, 18, 19, 20. I didn't look at the interest rate. Guess what? What happened is in 2020, a pandemic happened. When I was buying my rental homes in 2017, 18, 19, I didn't know a pandemic was going to happen. I had a 5.7% interest rate. I had a 4.7%, 4.5%. I was pretty happy with them. But guess what? The rate dropped during the pandemic, and I refinanced them into 3, 2.8, 2 point whatever, 6, and I'm pretty happy with that. Did I think that I could have gotten 2.5 and I didn't time the market right? For Christ's sake, no. Right? Do your best. Move on.
Well, I wanted you to ask the question from the consumer standpoint. You know, like, how does the consumer know that the interest rate went down? And, you know, like, I told, like, one of my clients, I told her that, listen, it's going to be such a big deal that everybody will be announcing it. You will hear from every single, you know, like, from every single source there is, and, like, you will not miss it. But just for those clients who actually close the loans with you, will they get a call from you?
So here's what I tell my clients. When we close a mortgage, and you and I close, you know, transactions every weekend. So my standard promise is, guys, I'm going to add you to a special software. It monitors 119 different banks across the country. And we have a threshold built of 0.75%. So as soon as the rates drop at 0.75% from your current rate, you're getting an automatic email. You don't have to worry about it. You will hear from your friends. Like I said, when people talk and you know, spread information, there's usually a 2-3 month lag. So we're usually the ones bringing the information, whether it's good or bad. We do have a special software that monitors all the rates for every single one of our past clients. They get an immediate email before they wake up, before I wake up. I get an email in my inbox and we take a look at it. That doesn't mean you need to refinance. That means we talk, we evaluate, we see how much your closing costs are, we see how much your savings are. What is your break-even period? We just kind of evaluate the feasibility. Is it worth refinancing? And then we refinance.
Excellent. And for those who are not your clients, let's say they made a mistake and they used another mortgage broker when they were purchasing their home. Do they have the opportunity to connect with you and actually ask to be placed on that list? What kind of information they need to provide for you so that they get notified?
Yes. So yeah, I'd love to. No one's ever asked. I guess we never really made it public. But yes, we would need to know the address, the current interest rate, current loan to value, whether they have excellent or like medium credit, subpar credit, that things that have an effect on the interest rate. We would ask some basic questions, would plug them into our system, and the system does not sleep. It'll monitor rates constantly and let us know.
Let's say you got your mortgage a long time ago and you're not even sure what your interest rate is right now. How do you get to know your interest rate?
It's on your monthly statement.
So you can look up on your monthly statement every time you have a monthly statement, whether you're getting it electronically or you're getting it through the snail mail.
Mm-hmm.
You will see, guys, you will see your principal balance, the leftover of your principal balance, and your interest rate. If you still have a question and you're not sure, like where to find this information, you can always contact me or David. Take a screenshot or take a picture of your mortgage statement, and we will actually point it out to you where you stand with your interest rate and where do you stand with your with your mortgage balance, and what should you be expecting, and what you should be doing. And so that is great. I'm glad we talked about this. And remember, guys, we will see the effect of these Feds lowering, freezing the hike of the interest rates. But let's first make it till July 12th. This is when we are going to see the next consumer price index. So this is where we will see the next report. It will be June report on the inflation numbers. And know that if they stay the same or they go up, then we would expect the Feds on July 24th to give us some bad news. But if the inflation rate goes down, then we would expect the Feds to say that they're not hiking the rate. And the timing between those two reports is actually there's 12 days difference. So we will be expecting that to happen, but for right now, for those of you guys who are still not sure, who are still not sure, who are still not confident, but could qualify, David, would you recommend these people actually start the mortgage application right now?
Absolutely.
So that with the way the market is, because the market is very, I would say, think of a market as the very bulky thing. The market is not your, it doesn't change overnight. It moves slowly and with inertia. So if there is a perfect timing for you to buy, if you are still, if you're still trying to catch this edge of the market, that I would say, guys, go ahead and submit your applications. I'll submit all of your paperwork to the lender. Get it all, get it all ready. Get your pre-approval ready. And the moment the rates go down, go ahead and take that, put that offer, and hopefully you will be able to catch the house at a good price without the multiple offers, and with a little bit concession, if any, will be available. Would you say that is a good strategy, David?
I think what I would say is every single one of our lives that we've covered so many topics over these months, right, Alexandra? Everything can be boiled down to talk to your local neighborhood loan officer, build a relationship with them, and stay in constant communication with them. If you're thinking of buying a house next year, if you're thinking of buying a house in 5 years from now, talk to a realtor, talk to a loan officer now. You don't owe us anything. I wish you did. I wish I could charge you anything, but we can't. Talk to us. Make sure that your income's okay. Make sure your credit's okay. Don't assume. A lot of times when you assume, you make a mistake and you don't qualify. People make the mistake of waiting too long. So the longer you wait, the riskier it gets. Talk to your loan officer. Get pre-qualified. Get the certainty that you're good, you're strong. You could get a house when you want to, and then continue waiting as long as you want to. But at least you know that when the time's right, when you have to move swiftly, you do have your loan pre-approved.
And actually, this is something that I wanted to mention, one of the conversations this morning that I had, and it was, it was a cold call from one of the online advertisement, and the guy actually told me something that I keep on hearing all the time. So the gentleman that I was talking to, he said that, you know what, my timeline is a year from now. And he's and you're the third person that I'm calling, And the previous two people who picked up the phone, the previous two realtors, they refused to talk to me because they said that it's too far away. So, and this is what I wanted to communicate to our listeners. Guys, first of all, there is no such a thing as too far away. Something that, and the reason why David and I, we actually work very well together, and we kind of we coexist in this environment of real estate mortgage relationships because we form lifetime relationships.
Exactly.
We're not here for one day. We're not here, we're not here for the quick, if you don't want to buy today, I don't want to talk to you. Guys, this is not how our relationships happening. This is not how our relationships are ran. So we're here to support you for many years. And like I say, sometimes I blush when I have one of the reviews on my Instagram where one of my great clients said she bought the house for us, for our kids, and now she's serving our grandkids. And I only been in business for 12 years. So, I'm not that old. I didn't have that many plastic surgeries. But yes, it is, it is our goal to help the families, to help the generations, and to help you guys to actually build this multi-generational wealth. That's what David is here all about, and this is what I'm here all about. So if you are hesitant, and if you ever heard from somebody, oh, it's too far away in advance, I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to, I don't want to work with you, we do want to work with you. We're actually, I love the people who are proactive. To me, there's no greater pleasure to work with a person who understands the impact of this decision. Because this gentleman who I talked to today, he asked all the right questions, and he actually has a lot of things aligned. So the gentleman said that I'm looking to sell my property in California, but I don't know how much I will be able to afford, when I move to Nevada. So this gentleman actually is going to have 3 processes going through in his life at the same time, 3 parallel lanes of a highway. He's going to have a sale, he's going to have a purchase, and in between those two is going to be the mortgage application. And all those three processes are interconnected. And you can move through them very quickly, very smoothly, and with the little to no stress at all, just because you're working with the right team, just because people you're working with are actually professionals and they know what they're doing, and they explain to you how the processes work. So now we're going to assess the property in California, figure out what kind of equity the person is going to get out of it. From that, we will know the approximate down payment that the person will put on their home, and with that we can come to the loan officer and actually work the strategy, what the person needs to do next in order to, the moment he sells his house, to move into his new house and not have to go through double moves, through the rentals or through the transitioning. We can transition the person from the sale of your home to your brand new home in Nevada within 1 to 2 business days, so there's no lag time for you, and there's no staying in the hotel, staying in the short-term rentals. But be proactive. If you don't know where to start, please contact us, please reach out to us. We will, we work with this process every single day, so we will show you all the steps. We will hold your hand on every step of the way, and we will explain to you what needs and doesn't need to be done. So our goal is to take the stress out of your life, because these things are complicated, but we deal with them every day of our life. That's what we're here for.
That's correct.
So David, do you like people who are proactive? If I think that I'm going to buy a year from now, do you actually want to talk to me today? or should you?
You and I are similar in the philosophy that we nurture lifetime clients. I do tell people, talk to me as soon as you can. It is in your interests. Arm yourself with information. Do not assume that you can buy a loan. Like, all verbal applications taken have proven to be wrong. So show your documents, get pre-approved, have the confidence, and go wait as long as you want to. I mean, we go pay so much money to lawyers and CPAs to get their time. I don't get to charge you. Talk to me. It's good for you. And would you agree, Alexandra, that when it's a repeat client, when it's a lifetime client, that we just pour our hearts out. We just give and give, make sure that they're all taken care of. I stay on top of clients when they're closed. I call them a month later, 3 months later. They become a part of our life. Now, as a loan officer, I need to respond and serve anyone that wants to apply for a mortgage. I can't really refuse business. That's the law. But if someone's shopping, I lose interest in that person. If someone doesn't cherish a relationship, then I'll just do what I'm legally obliged to, and I'll just forget their name immediately. But if we have our relationships, we love our clients, and that's why we do what we do. We love what we do, and we do bring value. So, and there is value if the person sees it.
Absolutely. And I also want to, if I were to go back to this gentleman that I talked to, this morning. So this is a this is a life-changing decision, especially when you're moving across the states.
Yeah.
So guys, please do not make life-changing decisions based on some online application, mortgage application that you filled out within 5 minutes, and some online automatic resource spit out the pre-approval where they didn't even ask for your social security, and they asked you, just give us the RAF numbers.
Yeah,
please do not form and shape your life-changing decisions based off those documents. Really, if you want to, if you want this process to go smoothly, if you want this process to go stress-free for you and your family, if you want to, moves are never fun. I have never, ever yet met a client who would say, I love moving. I just can't wait to put my, years of my life into several boxes and just hollow down across the state line or across the city. Nobody enjoys that process. But there are things that we can take the stress out of, and this is, this is the house shopping, house acquisition process and the loan process, so you guys could at least free 80% of your time to do all the other things that you actually enjoy, and to be with your family, to be at your work, and to concentrate on the things that you need to concentrate on, the pleasant things in life, not the stress that comes with the move, not the stress that comes with this change.
Right.
And so we're looking forward for those rates to drop. We're looking forward for all of our clients to actually get excited about the rates. Once again, if it is in your radar, or you think it should be in your radar to purchase the property today, we encourage all of you to start your applications as soon as possible and to get on this road, to get on this journey. And if you are a seller, please let us know, because we're in a constant search for the properties. The inventory is low. Do not drop your prices. Don't drop your prices if you're on the market right now, because you're about to experience a great flow of customers into your property if you're priced right.
I think so too. I think we're going to see an uptick in real estate right now and buyers. This is going to trickle, once the news come out a day or two a week, we will see some confidence build up in the real estate market again.
And I hope that we will see some lower interest rates. That's what we're hoping for. And I know that David would be posting it if they drop significantly. So if you guys are, like, what do you say for those people who just entered into the contract? Would you recommend for them to wait like a week before they lock their rate and to feel it, or?
Honestly, I would refer to Mortgage MBS Highway to see what, so Barry Habib, I trust him so much. I know you do too, but I would say, if anything, rates are headed down. Rates are not headed up anymore. I just cannot imagine rates going up anymore. So it may be a day or two, a greedy bank here and there, but if federal banks are not, I see my wife putting hearts. She sees anything about low rates, she gets excited.
She's like, new house is coming to the household.
Yeah, right. So I don't imagine rates going up anymore. I just don't. Rates are extremely high right now. They're at 7.6% with some origination points. They're just ugly expensive. But I do think that's the end of it. So the worst is behind us. This was great news, big news today, and if someone's in contract today, I would say definitely wait as long as you can before locking. I would say that's what I would do. I'd wait and lock.
Thank you. And if you guys are not in a contract yet, I don't know what you're sitting there and waiting for. You should be calling myself. You should be calling David, getting that pre-approval letter and going shopping, because one thing that everybody needs to know, there is an opportunity in every market. And when people keep on telling me, do you remember the 2008? And, like, here's the interesting stats that I've been talking about with my real estate coach. And between now and the first half of the year, 60,000 realtors left the field. 60,000 realtors actually forfeit their license.
Since 2008?
No, since January 1st, 2023 till June 1st, 2023.
Okay, all right.
60,000 realtors across the country forfeited their license, which is, guys, it is not an easy market for anybody, so it does affect, it does affect everybody. And the fact that David and I show up with a smiling face, right, it doesn't mean that we're not working in a tough market. Yes, we do, but I would tell you there is an opportunity in every market, and we are extremely blessed that our clients, our buyers, and our sellers, they do see those opportunities, and they actually have the courage and they have the smarts to take advantage of this market. So if you want to know, how can you benefit from this market and, actually calculate the numbers behind your benefit, David and I are here to assist you and to calculate it for you, to actually show you what you can do with, with your current money position, with your current income position, what you can actually do with all those things. That's number one. And then number two is that, you can, there is an opportunity. Even in 2008, when people are saying, do you know how many people lost their homes? Yes, I know, but I would tell you that by 2012, by 10, 11 here in Nevada, by 10, 11, 90% of those homes were purchased. So this tells me that when somebody is at a loss, it still creates the opportunity just for a different, just for a different buyer. So that said, if somebody is slashing their price right now because they don't believe into this market, go ahead and scoop this house at a good price, because guess what? The prices are going up. And if you're, if you have to overpay for 12 months with the high interest rate. And this is, this is what I have been calculating with my buyers a lot right now. Let's say if they have to keep the house at a high interest rate for the next 12 months and they end up overpaying like $4,600 for the house and write it off on their taxes because they're still going to write off the interest on their taxes, so be it. But they will be at a house of their dream, and it could be that they're going to gain another $70,000 within the same 12 months period of time, because once the buying frenzy is there, then your house value, like the one that you already own, is going to go up as well, because everybody in your neighborhood will be selling for way higher prices. And it means that if you bought today with like 5 or 10% down, the chances are by the time the rates go down, you might gain, you might gain a 20% equity and drop that mortgage interest.
That's true. I agree. I agree 100%.
So there is an opportunity. That's why, I'm looking at some purchases right now. And when people ask me, should I put 5, 10, or 20% down? Well, guys, you should, if you are banking on the property prices to go up, you might as well put less than 20% down and let the economy, let the housing market bring the value of your house and the equity in your house up to 20% to drop that mortgage insurance.
I can tell you what I would do. If I had 20%, I would put 5% down, get that house, put the other 15% in S&P today, because this announcement with the Fed is not just going to drop rates, it's also going to, in my opinion, again, we need to stay within the boundaries of our licensing, but in my opinion, going to raise the stock market S&P 500 up. So if I had some money, I would definitely acquire a house, because they're positioned to go up, but I think the stock market's positioned to go up again. So I would try to participate in both if I could.
Excellent. And David, as always, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for taking time and sharing your beautiful view from the window. That's Washington view, correct?
Correct. It's where I fish.
Thank you.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. Maybe next time we will see you on the live with the fishing rod.
Right. No.
Really.
Need to keep it
Not during the workday, correct?
Yeah, no.
Business hours, not during the business hours. But thank you so much once again. I remind everybody, guys, if you have questions, you can always DM us with the questions. If those questions contain any personal information, please do not publicly post them under this video. DM us, call us, email us. We're always available. If it is a general question, we encourage those questions. We encourage those questions anytime. And I hope to see you all next week on our live. And I hope to bring you the news of super low interest rates.
Yeah, right. Me too. Thanks, Alexandra.
I think your dad wants your attention if he's outside.
Got some furniture delivery probably. But see you next week.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
See you next week. Bye.